Hello, Lakers. Great to be back with you. And we're reaching a watershed moment for ourselves, which is that we're going to begin next week with safely and incrementally opening up our university community. So I'm really thrilled to have Maureen Walsh with us here today, who is our AVP for Human Resources and our Chief Human Resource Officer. So Maureen, welcome.
Thank you, President Mantella. I'm happy to be here today.
So Maureen, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been at Grand Valley State University for almost 2 years now. My anniversary is coming up at the end of June. Most of my human resources career has been spent in the corporate space, where most recently I was a vice president of global HR for a consumer product goods company. I spent some time at Aquinas College to get introduced to human resources in the higher ed space, and then was fortunate to have the opportunity to join the Grand Valley team and lead HR here.
So tell us a little bit about how you think about, on a conceptual level, like how do you possibly engage in this broad-based planning effort? What are the components that make up the effort, and where are we now?
Well, we really think about that in two ways of thinking about our academic continuity as well as our operational continuity. And when we think about June 22nd, that's really the first part of coming back to the workplace. And we are welcoming employees back, both faculty and staff, in a very deliberate way over a 6-week period. And part of that is considering the workspace, work schedules, as well as how we're caring for each other through our own personal responsibility of hygiene and including ensuring social distancing. So when we get back into our workspaces over the course of that time, things are going to look different. The furniture might look different in our office spaces. How we interact with others is going to look different. We'll still be in a virtual meeting space for quite some time. And all of that in preparation for thinking about welcoming our students back to the campus environment as we get towards the end of August.
I've heard you describe this in the senior leadership team as a dimmer switch that we turn up in a thoughtful way. And if we need to, we turn back. Should we have any uptick in the virus in our region.
Yes, that's true. We can't think about it as that light switch where we're all just back in the workplace and the workspace, just working like we were at the beginning of March. It will look different. We might see different people at different times. We might see people having different work schedules. We might see some remote work with a mixture of staggered shifts.
Pretend I'm an employee, I am, but how will I know that it's what's happening with me in my department?
So working with your appointing officer, their designees, it might be your unit head, it could be your supervisor, and understanding your schedule, what's required of you and of the department, and our overarching department needs. And so we've been communicating out to the community over the past several weeks about the expectation that June 22nd is the start of the ramp-up period. And then each one of our appointing officers or supervisors should be communicating to us our schedules, what the workplace expectations will look like for our particular area, and also things like personal protective equipment in our area, cleaning supplies. Those will be stocked for us when we get back into the workplace. And that's all through the efforts of the appointing officer working with the different support organizations across the institution.
Great, thank you. Can you talk a minute about self-assessment and training and how I become skilled in this new normal?
We are required before we step foot on campus is to ensure that we complete a self-assessment. That self-assessment form is located on the Lakers Together website, so I encourage everyone to visit that website often for all new information. But there's a self-assessment there where we take our temperature, we check ourselves for symptoms to make sure that we're not bringing any illness into the campus environment, but most importantly, that if we are presenting symptoms, that we're getting care for ourselves. Another thing that we're required to do as employees is to complete educational training that's posted also on the Lakers Together website that will outline our new policies, our new procedures, our new health protocols, so that we know what we can expect when we get back to the workplace. And we'll do that just once, but it is required of all of us, and we will be looking to see that everyone has completed it because it's really important information, and it's about how we work together to create a safe environment for both each other as well as for our students.
That's a perfect segue to remind you all that Lakers Together website is keeping this information up. And we, as Maureen said, we really need you to take personal responsibility to understand the environment, to conform with the environment, to keep yourself safe and others safe, and it'll move us forward into a great new year in the fall. Thank you, Maureen.
Thank you.